Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Dhanavad Pranam Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam.
Dhanavad Pranam Mataji, Hare Krishna. Okay, we will begin, and in the meantime others can join. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadhutam Parijanan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Prana Mami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishvara. Okay. Hare Krishna. Is my voice clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So we are we covered this verse.
Yes, Prabhuji. We have to do 9.2, Prabhuji.
9.2. Okay. Did we cover these images?
Actually, we had a glance of these images, Prabhuji, last time.
Yes, Prabhuji. Like you said, the story, you spoke about this image.
Okay.
Yeah, we read this verse, but we like it was not enough time to explain. So
this is where we have to begin now.
yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So let us begin. Someone can start reading.
This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization. It is the perfection of religion. It is the everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. So.
Now, as I said last week we will keep our discussion short, maybe maximum an hour. um, so again, we are continuing the ninth chapter. Acronym for this chapter is King. K stands for King of Knowledge. And last, the first two verse, Krishna says, Arjuna, the qualification to understand this message of Bhagavad Gita, and the qualification and the reason why Krishna is revealing this knowledge to Arjuna. Now, the knowledge revealed in this chapter is very, very confidential. Um, and such knowledge cannot be spoken to those people who are envious of Krishna. That's why, right in the beginning, in the first verse, Krishna says, well, Arjuna, I am giving you this knowledge because you are non envious of me. And that's what we discussed last week. Now, Krishna is talking about what is the value of this knowledge. He's telling this knowledge is king of education. We'll take one by one these different words. King of education. Now, this is all from Srila Prabhupada purport. There is long purport of Srila Prabhupada. I'm going to repeat in my own words what Prabhupada says in his purport. This knowledge is king of knowledge. So there are multiple kinds of knowledge. Um, there is material knowledge like chemistry, physics, biology, and so many. There is material science, and then there is spiritual science. Spiritual science comes from Vedic science, Vedas. Vedic science or spiritual science is higher than uh, mundane science or material science, because material science emanates directly, indirectly from the Vedic science. Vedic knowledge includes three sections: karma, 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 jnana, and upasana kanda. Karma kanda deals with karma, section of Vedas that deals with karma. Jnana is a section of Vedas that deals with Jnana Yoga, like Upanishads, they deal with Jnana. Then Upasana is Bhakti, or the part of scriptures which deals with Bhakti. Jnana, Jnana part of Vedas is higher than Karma, and Upasana is higher than Jnana. So Upasana Kanda, or the scriptures or in the Vedic purview that deals with bhakti, are considered topmost. Among all those scriptures, Bhagavad Gita is considered as the best. Krishna says among all the Vedas, um, he compares. There is a verse which says, if all the Vedas are compared to a cow, and the milker of the cow is Krishna, uh, then the milk which is produced, which is the essence of the cow, of course everything cow produces is pure, but still the essence is the milk. So the milk is compared to Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is in 15th chapter. Krishna says, Vedascha sarver ahameva veda vedanta krit veda videvacha. I am the compiler of the Vedas, and I am the knower of the Vedas. And so Krishna, who is a compiler of the Vedas, has taken all the Vedas, and all the Vedas um, 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 are compared to cow, and the milk is compared to Bhagavad Gita, and the milker is Krishna. So just like if you have written, suppose if you have written 20-30 books and have done lots and lots of research, thesis, you have read lot of things, and somebody asks you, well, for past 30 years whatever research have you done, what is the summary? And then you will tell them what is the summary. So likewise, the compiler of all the Vedas is Krishna. Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Vedas are compared to the breathing of the Supreme Lord, and he himself is telling the summary to Arjuna. And that's why um, um, this section, Bhagavad Gita, is called the essence of the Vedic scriptures. Among that, also, Krishna says 9th chapter is the most confidential knowledge. And so we can understand how confidential is this knowledge. That's why Krishna calls this knowledge as the king of knowledge. King of knowledge. Then it is the most secret of all secrets. Now, uh, something more on most confidential knowledge, as Srila Prabhupada mentions. Second chapter is compared as confidential because second chapter says that we are spirit souls. Most of the people are under this impression and understanding that we are the bodies, and many have heard that we are spirit souls, but their knowledge is just theoretical knowledge also. Just for the name's sake, they say we are spirit souls because their activities are completely on the bodily platform. So that knowledge that I'm spiritual by nature is very rare. Uh, that's why second chapter is called confidential knowledge. Then seventh chapter says that we are not only spirit souls, but we are part and parcel of Krishna. So it reveals another level of identity. If we say I am a spirit soul, I'm still in ignorance because I don't know what to do as a spirit soul. Even if I'm a spirit soul, what are the activities of spirit soul? That is not mentioned. And not only um, um, I don't even know who is my source, who created me, what is my origin as a spirit soul. So that's why seventh chapter gives that information. What is my source? What is my origin? And Krishna says, all living entities are my superior energy. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, my intelligence, ego are my inferior energy, and living entities are my superior energy. So then we come to know that actually we are Krishna's energy, or we belong to Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So this is even among millions who know that they are spirit souls, very countable people actually know that they are part and parcel of Krishna. They just think we are spiritual by nature. Let me do good, be good, but they don't realize they are part and parcel of Krishna. That's why seventh chapter is called more confidential, because our true identity is revealed that I am part and parcel of Krishna. Now ninth chapter is called most confidential. Why? Because we come to know in this chapter what am I supposed to do as a spirit soul? What are my activities? If somebody just tell me I'm part and parcel of Krishna, I don't know what to do. All right, so what should I do then? So what to do is described in this chapter, and also the loving relationship between the Jiva and Krishna is described in this chapter. And this all will come under the fourth section, which is glories of bhakti. It is because of that particular section that this chapter becomes most confidential. Other things that Krishna says that we are going to discuss today is also very enlivening. So this chapter is very important. Um, that's why Krishna calls it most confidential knowledge. Um, and we will see that whatever Krishna describes in this chapter um, is the essence of entire Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna is going to repeat the same in the 18th chapter also in the summary. So this is the most confidential knowledge. Then it is the most secret of all secrets. Why secret? Because Bhagavad Gita is the second largest selling book in the world. Practically almost every home in India has Bhagavad Gita. Even Pakistan, Asia, Malaysia, and now there are millions and millions of copies in the West who have Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is so widely available to almost like uh, I heard like 1/5 of population. It's the second largest selling book. Huge. Everyone has Bhagavad Gita. Still, it is most secret. How can it be so secret when everyone has it? Because the Prabhupada says that by reading you cannot understand it. That's why it's called secret. And if you go back to um, fourth chapter, there Krishna says, um, fifth chapter, there Krishna says, knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because of ignorance we have sinful desires. Because of sinful desires is the cause of our suffering. And knowledge is what remove the darkness, just like sun removes the darkness. Likewise, knowledge removes ignorance. So when we come to knowledge, then our activities become pure. So knowledge is very important aspect. And then Krishna says how to get that knowledge, and he says by faith, shelter, and surrender unto the Supreme Lord. So we cannot understand Bhagavad Gita by reading Bhagavad Gita, but Bhagavad Gita is something that needs to be revealed to us from within our heart. Like for example, Krishna says, "I am Supreme Personality of Godhead," but one may read it and may not accept it. It may not resonate from within his heart. So then, although he knows that knowledge is not of any use to him because he has not developed the conviction. So Bhagavad Gita is called most secret knowledge because for it to sink in, it has to resonate in our heart. By after hearing, if you're convinced, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Now let me do it. If it sinks in, then only it has value, and it will sink in only if we are taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. And this is like a catch nine situation. We cannot understand until Krishna's mercy is there, basically. Uh, and once we those who sincerely chant the holy names of the Lord associate with devotees, um, um, and try to read personally under guidance. Those people can actually understand Bhagavad Gita. That's why it's called the most secret of all secrets. Then it is the purest knowledge. Now everybody is looking for pure, pure 100% juices, pure vegetables, organic vegetables. So we want everything pure. So this knowledge is called purest knowledge because of two reasons. First, there is no material contamination in this knowledge. This knowledge is 100% pure. Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita does not promote dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Nothing doing, just pure devotion service, pure bhakti, unalloyed devotion. Alloy is a mixture of two compounds, it becomes alloy. Unalloyed, you may have heard alloys. Unalloyed means no mixture, no mixture of material desire. Unalloyed devotion, pure bhakti. So um, that's why this knowledge is of Bhagavad Gita is so pure. Um, Another reason why it is called purest knowledge, by practicing Bhagavad Gita, we will also become pure. By reading, understanding, hearing Bhagavad Gita, we become purified. That's why it's called purest knowledge. And there is a verse which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke. चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादवाग्निर्वापनम्. Chetodarpanamarjana. The mirror of the heart is cleansed. Cheto is heart, Darpana is mirror, Marjanam is cleansed. Cheto Darpana Marjanam means a mirror of the heart is cleansed. Now, when we see ourselves in a dirty mirror, we actually don't see ourselves, we see only dust. But when we see ourselves in a clean mirror, then we see ourselves as we are. So likewise, this is a mirror of the heart. So when we see ourselves in the mirror of the heart of who am I, if the heart is full of dust, then we don't see really who am I, and we see only the covering. The covering of the soul, the dust is compared to false ego, and we identify ourselves as the body. When we ask ourselves, "Who am I?" I am this engineer, and these are my family members, and this is my nation, and etc. This is called dust. Um, all that dust is removed. That dust from the heart of falsely identifying ourselves with the product of this material world. That dust is removed. Cheto darpana marjana. Now, these are called the 7 effects of chanting the holy names of Krishna. First effect is Cheto darpana marjana. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Mahadavagni. Mahadavagni. Davagni is forest fire. Mahadavagni is huge forest fire. The heart of every living entity in this material world is full of anxiety, full of anxiety. The moment they chant the holy name, they come to temple, they associate with devotees, when they experience pure devotion, that feels like cooling, that feels like so soothing. Bhava Mahadava Agni Nirvapanam. Nirvapanam means the great forest fire of anxiety is extinguished. The second effect of the holy name. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Chandrika, moon. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. The cooling light of the moon rays nourishes our heart, or the cooling potency of the holy name nourishes our heart. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Vidyavadhu Jeevanam. And the heart becomes full of knowledge. We become enlightened into what is my true spiritual identity, what is my relationship with Krishna, how can I eternally serve Krishna. Vidyavadhu Jeevanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam. Anandam, um, bliss. Buddhivardhanam, the heart and the mind is filled with unlimited bliss. Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purna Amrita Swadanam. And any happiness, nature of any happiness in this material world, it becomes boring over a period of time. It's very short-lived, but happiness of devotional service keeps on increasing. Like recently, I was talking to one family and very new to devotional service. And Mataji said, Prabhuji, we hear so many songs, but I'm singing this Krishna's names, and it's been a while, and we every day we are feeling enlivened by them. I said that's the nature of Krishna. Krishna, non-different from his name, is ever youthful. Um, so Naturally, in this material world, a boy and a girl, when they are not married, they have an attraction. After marriage, the relationship becomes like, all right, there is no excitement anymore. And after a few years, it's like just get going. But the relationship with Krishna is not like that. Relationship with Krishna is every day, it is newer and newer, newer and newer. Every day it feels like, wow, I have never experienced such thing before. So that is the nature of spiritual world. It never gets boring. But what it gets? Pratipadam, step by step. Pratipadam, Purna Amrita Swadanam. Purna Amrita Swadanam. You feel like nectar. Day after day, month after month, year after year, for eternity. You feel like Pratipadam, step after step, your ecstasies are increasing. It is said that Krishna is always increasing. Krishna beauty is ever increasing. Like if we see a beautiful person in this world, we may be very infatuated, but then after a while we don't value that beauty anymore because we are bored with that beauty. But Krishna's beauty is not like that. It is always increasing. Krishna's beauty, his charm, his youthfulness, his attractiveness, everything is constantly increasing. That's why, and this is inconceivable. Uh, um, and Even the beauties of the gopis and Srimati Radharani is ever increasing. So, Pratipadam Purna Amrita Swadanam. Um, and same thing with the holy name also. The happiness that we derive from the holy name will keep on increasing. We may enjoy a little bit now, After few years, we will have more taste and attraction. After 10 years, we will have more taste and attraction. After 20 years, we'll have more taste and attraction. It keeps on increasing for eternity. How is it possible? Because Krishna is not different from his name. His name is not different from Krishna. And if Krishna's attractiveness and beauty and charm is always increasing, so is the holy name. So Pratipadam Purna Amrita Swadam. Step after step you will do Purna Amrita Swad. You will fully taste the Amrit. Amrita Swadanam. Sarvatma Snapanam. And to such an extent that your whole self will be weighted uh, with this holy name. Sarvatma Snapanam. Snan is bathing. Sarvatma Snapanam means the holy name completely bathe the self. You will be saturated with every limb of your body will be saturated. That's the nature of the holy name. Sarvatma Snapanam. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. And these are the effects of Param Vijayate, the supremely glorious Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, the names of Shri Krishna. So, what are the 7 effects of the holy name? One is Chetu Darpana Marjam, the heart becomes pure. Lust, anger, envy, greed, pride will go away, and we can identify ourselves as what is my relationship with Krishna. Chetu Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapana. Because of our association with this material world, there are so many anxieties. They will, which are burning like fire. These anxieties will die out like water poured on it. Shriya Kaidava Chandrika Vitaranam. And it's not just no anxiety, but the heart will be filled with the cooling rays of the moon. Like, everybody loves moonlight because it has a cooling effect. So not only the forest fire is extinguished, but it has become cold now because of the moonlight. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vidyavadhu Jivanam, and you will get full of knowledge and enlightenment. Anandam Buddhivardhanam, you will become blissful. Pratipadam Purna Amrita Swadanam, that bliss will keep on increasing. Shriya Purna Amrita Sarvatma Snapanam, and you will finally bathe fully saturated in the joy of Krishna's name. Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So that's why this is called purest knowledge, because by understanding and by applying this path of devotional service, we will become fully purified. So it is the purest of all. It is the purest knowledge, and then it gives. Now there is another story um, of purest knowledge. I may have told this earlier, but I will repeat it. There was one smuggler. He was very quick. Those who have not heard, uh, it's a true story. There was one smuggler wanted, running. Cops were running behind him. 1970s. As he was going on the street, he saw a group of devotees, Prabhujis and Matajis, wearing dhoti, kurta, and saris with tilak on their head. Prabhus shaved up uh, on the street with mridang and kartal. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he felt, wow, this is amazing. Naturally, anybody who hears the holy name feel like enlivened. So he thought this is amazing. And then he thought, if I shave up with shikha like them, tilak, or painting on my face, that's how he would see. And there's white chadars, white blankets, then I can actually hide my identity and I completely shave my beard and shave my head. Nobody will be able to recognize me. So he it was a huge group of devotees. So he went in the middle among the devotees and he started dancing with the devotees. And cops came and they just crossed the Hare Krishnas and they came back and they were looking everywhere, and then they thought somehow he escaped, so they left. So these devotees reached temple, and then they said, "Well, Prabhu, thank you for joining. It was very nice." And he said, "Well, can I live with you guys?" And Hare Krishnas, we we have no bar. Like whether one is a smuggler or any kind of sinful activity, you are welcome. You are welcome to stay with us and chant Hare Krishna. They said, of course, but there are certain rules and regulations to live in that temple. You have to get up at 4 a.m., attend Mangal Arati, and go out for Harinam and book distribution with us. He said, all right, because somehow his life is at verge of death. Anytime he can be caught, and there is order. Uh, um, just put him in the jail. So his life was hell if this is the only option remaining. That's what he thought. So got up at 4 a.m. He went to the temple. Samsara dava nalalidha loka pranaya karunya ghana ghana tvam praptasya kalyana gunana vasya vande guru shri charanara vindam vande guru shri charanara vindam vande guru shri charanara vindam. Then this is Mangalati going on 4 a.m. in the morning, and devotees are playing mridang and kartals, jumping, dancing. He also became ecstatic because naturally, the the way devotion works is, if if there is a devotional energy by devotees' presence in the temple hall, everybody will experience it. So he also experienced, although he's a smuggler. That's why association helps, because we may not have strength ourselves, devotional strength, but association will give us that strength. And he jumped up and down and he thought, well, this is ecstatic. And then they gave him chanting beads and they said, now we have to do japa. Japa, what is japa? We have to chant this mantra: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. 16 rounds. 16 rounds. It will take 2 hours. We have to do it every day. So he started doing japa. He was falling asleep. Um, 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 and he thought this is difficult. This is not so easy. Morning was good. And then after that there is Guru Puja. Again, Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadama Andomui Savadhana Mate. Then again Mridang and Kartals, and devotees are dancing and ecstatic. And he's like, wow, that's great. That's great. This japa is not so great, but I will tolerate it. Anyways, better to japa than go behind the jail. And he started attending Guru Puja, then Bhagavatam class, and he would hear Krishna Katha, Shrimad Bhagavatam, and because so much sinful activities, he'll fall asleep. And somehow devotees will say, Prabhu, get up, Bhagavatam class is going on. Okay. So he will hear Shrimad Bhagavatam Katha, and then there is nice prasad. There is gulla, and there is sandwiches, then idli, sambar, dosa, chutney, and juice, rabdi, and sweet rice, and few more items. And he's like, wow, I don't know anything other than hamburger. Now there are 15 items in breakfast only. What about lunch? So he thought, well, I think I should stay here. This is very good. This is very good. So he stayed there. After that, devotees will go out of book distribution. They would give him a bag of books. So what he would do, because he had sinful activities, it's difficult to give up sinful nature. So he would go and do the smuggling, and he get lot of money from smuggling, and he would throw the books in the trash, and he would come and tell devotees, well, I got little money. He would keep the money with him from the smuggling, and he would give few dollars to the devotees and said, well, I distributed so many books. Devotees like, Hari Bol, this devotee is so gem. He had distributed so many books. But slowly, sometime devotees will go along with him, and then he cannot go for smuggling. then he would actually distribute books. And as he was chanting, although sleeping and chanting, hearing Krishna Katha, although without interest, as he was ecstatically engaging in kirtans, Mangal Arti, as he was doing it over and over, his consciousness was becoming more and more clearer, and he was becoming more and more purified. His taste in the devotional service was increasing, in devotee association, in prasadam, in hearing Krishna Katha. He was getting captured. What happened next? What happened to Bhishma Dev? Wow, he was on the bed of the arrows and he's speaking. So he was slowly getting more and more captured by Srimad Bhagavatam. And now, even when he's going alone, mm, he was losing his taste for smuggling, and he would slowly reducing that, and he would actually distribute books by himself. He was becoming motivated because he was reading those books, and he was seeing the value. He was understanding human life, karma, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, as his consciousness, association, prasadam, everything was working on him. Slowly, and things were becoming more and more clearer. And slowly he gave up his smuggling, and he became a sincere sadhaka. He was practicing sincerely. He was understanding the value. He understood the philosophy. It takes a couple of years to understand the philosophy fully. Um, but if we are not living in temple, it may take little. I mean, it takes couple of years. But if you are living in temple, then within few months we can understand philosophy because so much harikatha goes on there. So one day, almost a year passed. He was coming in mode of goodness, very genuine. He was developing qualities like humility and tolerance. He went to temple president and said, Prabhu, I want to confess my heart. Actually, I'm very grateful to the Association of Devotees. But before I joined, my motive was not to become a devotee. I was a smuggler, and cops were behind me. I am still haunted, but because my appearance have changed, nobody recognize me anymore in this current robes. What should I do? And the temple president said, well, we are very grateful, and your devotion exemplary now. Whatever be the past, now you have become purified. Yet at the same time, we follow the laws of this material world. So, since you are looked after by cops, I request you to surrender yourself and um, surrender to Krishna. And whatever comes, if you have to stay there for the rest of your life, or if you are hanged to death, or if you are released, just depend on Krishna. Take it at Krishna's will. Krishna will be pleased. Krishna will make all arrangements. Have faith on Krishna. So this Prabhu, the transformed Prabhu, he went to the police station and he surrendered. So there was a court hearing. After a few days, he was in the jail. Um, he would sit in one corner with his japamala and he would chant whole day. And he would depend upon Krishna. Whatever he would get in the jail, he would offer to Krishna. And to the inmates in the jail, he would speak about Krishna. And heart was completely transformed and purified. Um, he went to the court and he told the judge, well, I was a great smuggler and I surrendered. Now I am under your will. Whatever you want to do with my life, you can do. So the judge was very curious and just said, for 1 year, even more than that, before also everyone was looking, how come you surrendered yourself personally? Usually nobody comes and surrenders. What made you take that step? And then he said, well, I met these Hare Krishnas, genuinely devotional people, very pure at heart. I loved them. Initially, I was still smuggling, but I would get up at 4 a.m., chant the holy names, hear Vedic scriptures, distribute spiritual books, and give spiritual knowledge to others, chanting the names of the Lord. And as I was doing all these things, my inner consciousness became more and more stronger, and I gave up all my sinful past, and now I have no more desire. And I don't want to do anything wrong. Since I wanted, I surrendered. And the judge said, the judge was moved by this story because he was also a Christian, and most of the Americans are Christians, and he could see the sincere dedication of this man in service to God. Then he said, well, the goal of sending a person to jail or prison is rectification. Uh, but I see you are completely rectified. So there is no purpose of putting you in jail anymore. In fact, people who go to the jail, when they come out, they continue sinful activities. So jail is kind of a fear, does not even rectify, because they continue that activity again. Because stopping one's nature out of fear doesn't work. The nature will come out, but your nature is transformed. You are purified. So you are released today onwards. You are free. You are not wanted anymore. And please accept our obeisances to you for who you are. And this person had tears in his eyes, seeing the mercy of Krishna. And the judge and everybody and the whole court was, there was a devotional energy even there. And so this is the nature of this knowledge and the science of Bhagavad Gita. It is the purest knowledge. It purifies anybody who comes in contact. Just the example, Ishopanishad gives an example, um, like a stool. A stool is an untouchable thing. Nobody wants to touch. It smells bad, and everything, all its characteristics are bad. But when the stool comes in touch with the sun purifies the stool. Um, all the bad smell, by the power of the sun, goes away. All the bad water goes away. All everything, and then the stool is nothing else but just like earth, earth element, and harmless, and uh, becomes purified. So likewise, no matter how contaminated we are, a impure heart is compared to dirty substance, and Krishna is compared to a sun. Just like sun purifies any dirtiest thing, um, without coming directly in touch, just by touch from the distance. Likewise, although we may not have personal association of Krishna, in Vapu, just through his holy name, which is not different from the Lord, through association of devotees, the moment we come in touch with Krishna, uh, our heart becomes purified. So this is the purest knowledge. And because it gives direct perception of the self, you can perceive it yourself. It's not something that one time when devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, how do I know if I'm making advancement in Krishna consciousness? How do I know if I'm making progress? And Prabhupada said, you will know. Devotee said, how will I know? And Prabhupada said, you will know. Then Prabhupada said here, you can perceive it yourself directly. Nobody has to tell you. And Prabhupada gave an example. Prabhupada said, just like when you when you are hungry and you start eating prasada, nobody has to tell you that Prabhu, you are full now, don't eat anymore. No, you know yourself. You know how much hunger is remaining and when I am full. You just in the beginning are very hungry. After a certain time you realize I cannot eat anymore. Now I'm full. You can directly perceive it. Likewise, Krishna consciousness, you can directly perceive it. That's why Srila Prabhupada said Krishna consciousness is a scientific process. Why scientific? In science, you can perceive the results. In science, you can say, well, hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid will form, and nitrogen dioxide. will form NaCl, sodium chloride, and other things which are greenish in color. And then you are like, okay. And then you go take a test tube, heat the test tube, heat the two acids, mix um, um, everything, and then you see a green color coming out from test tube. So now you can perceive it. So now you know actually it has produced. Then you can do some litmus test to check the acidity or of the gas produced, etc. You can perceive it. Likewise, Krishna consciousness, you can perceive it. You know how much progress you have made. You know, you know how many impurities are there in the heart. You know how much taste you have in the holy name. You know how much detachment you have developed towards name, fame, woman, and wealth. You know everything. You know how far you have progressed. So it is direct. You can. It gives direct perception of the self by realization, and then it is perfection of religion. Perfection of religion. So Savai Pumsha, uh, perfection of religion. Savai Pumsham Paro Dharmo Yatho Bhakti Adoksaje Ahituki Apratihata. यही आत्मा सुप्रसिद्ध थी. Parodharma. So religion is dharma. Dharma is of two kinds: Swadharma, Parodharma. Swadharma is according to one ashram. Uh, Parodharma is Savai Pumsham Parodharma Yatho Bhaktir Adoksaje. Adoksaje is Krishna. Bhaktir. Yatho is to perform bhakti to Krishna. That is Parodharma. So this chapter describes this most confidential knowledge describes bhakti yoga, which is parodharma, which is perfection of religion. Some people ask, Prabhuji, what is dharma? Well, dharma is to render devotion service to Krishna. That is the supreme authority of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what dharma is meant for, or parodharma. So it is a perfection of religion. And then it is everlasting. Everlasting has many meanings. Everlasting means two things. One thing, bhakti continues. Whatever progress you have made, it is eternal, everlasting. Uh, Even if tomorrow, because of the presence of external energy, we loses all interest in hearing Bhagavad-Gita, in chanting the holy names, in associating with devotees, and we just go astray tomorrow. It is possible. Power of material energy is huge. So whatever progress we have made so far, that is eternal. The amount of attraction we have developed towards Krishna, it is eternal. The taste in the holy name that we have developed so far by our sincere practice, it is eternal. So this bhakti yoga is everlasting. Very nice example is when Krishna went to Mathura. Um, okay, let me share just one more story. When Krishna went to Mathura, Krishna met a tailor, a tailor, and Krishna asked the tailor, "What are you carrying?" And tailor was carrying very nice clothes for Kamsa. And Krishna said, "These are new silky robes for the king." And when the tailor saw Krishna Balram, the tailor was so attracted. And Krishna, and then he said, "I am carrying it for Kamsa, but I have a strong desire that I want to see both of you in these robes. Can I put these robes onto you?" And that's what Krishna's desire. And Krishna was very pleased. So himself put Krishna in kingly robes of Kamsa. So there is a picture that Srila Prabhupada requested devotees to paint where Krishna and Balram are in Mathura and they are in kingly robes. So tailor gave them that, and Krishna told, because you have offered your fresh new clothes to us, your life has become greatly fortunate. You will become our associate at the end of this life, and in this life, you will develop all the six opulences of name, fame, beauty, renunciation, wealth, and everything. You will develop all six opulences, and at the end, you will become our associate. So, this tailor, it is described in his previous life, was the best tailor during the time of Lord Sri Ramchandra in Mithila. When Lord Ramchandra was about to get married to Sita Devi, Maharaj Janak requested this same tailor to stitch clothes for Lord Ram. And Lord Ram wore those kingly robes, and the tailor had lot of attraction for Lord Ram. And because he rendered that devotional service, he had this unfulfilled desire that I want to personally dress Lord Ramchandra. But Lord Ram, that desire was unfulfilled in that time. But Krishna noticed that desire. So when Krishna came in his original Swarup as Krishna, Krishna at once recognized the tailor. And the reason this tailor was so attracted to Krishna, because he was continuing from his previous life. Now, Taylor was working for Kamsa before he met Krishna. Um, he doesn't know Krishna, but the moment he came in touch with Krishna, his attraction was awakened. Likewise, we may be working for Kamsa like people in this world, in this material world, who are basically materialists. But the moment we come in touch with Krishna consciousness, our attraction from previous life gets awakened. Um, um, just before Krishna met Taylor, so we see how the devotional service, we see from the Taylor's example that devotional service is everlasting. Everlasting. He just started and began and continued from his previous life. But there is another example of a washerman. This washerman was also from Lord Ramchandra's time. During Lord Ramchandra, this washerman was a washerman in Lord Ram's time, and he spread the rumor and he defamed Sita Devi. Sita Devi is of loose character. He defamed her. She was living with another another male, Ravana. We don't know what all she has done there, and she created doubts in the kingdom of Ayodhya. Because Lord Ramchandra was a Maryada Purushottam, in order to set a right example, Lord Ramchandra abandoned Sita and left to Vishwamitra Muni's ashram. Um, that same washerman, because he did some disservice to Lord Ramchandra, he was not punished during Lord Ramchandra's time. But when Krishna saw this washerman, Krishna immediately understood that he needs to be punished now. But because this washerman has rendered disservice to Lord Ramchandra, the moment he saw Krishna, he became angry. So um, Krishna asked, "What are you carrying?" He said, "These are fresh clothes for King Kamsa." And Krishna gave him still an opportunity. Krishna said, "Well, if you offer these clothes to me, your life will become fortunate. Your life will become glorious. Do not hesitate." And washerman said, "Let me go and inform Kamsa that fools and rascals like you who have come from Vrindavan have come who are loose characters, both of you, and I know about what all you have done in Vrindavan, and this place is a place for gentlemen, and there are strict laws. You will not fit here, and in fact, people like loose character like both of you deserve to be killed. And let me go and inform Kamsa so his servants can kill you right away. So this is the same Krishna and Balram with all 64 qualities, but because he has rendered this service in the previous life, whatever hatredness he has, he exhibited that the moment he saw Krishna. And Krishna had to punish him from the previous life. So Krishna, with love, touched the washerman, and washerman head fell off, and washerman died on the spot. But because Krishna is all merciful, this is supreme glory of Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, some samaham sarva bhuteshu na me asti same na priya. Samaham sarva bhuteshu. I am equal to sarva bhuteshu, all living entities. I am equal to all. Na me asti same na priya. I envy no one, I hate no one. So Krishna's killing washerman is an act of mercy. Although he punished him as he deserved, that's how the material world works. One gets what one deserves. But Krishna gave him the position of a servant in Golok Vrindavan and allowed him to serve him with pure love forever. That is the mercy of Krishna. So this devotional service is everlasting, continues forever. And then it is last one is um, another meaning of everlasting is one time one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, why are you chanting Hare Krishna? Prabhupada said to chant more Hare Krishna. In other words, devotional service continues for the rest of eternity. Once began, it never stops. Um, um, it will continue forever. And it is joyfully performed. One time devotee asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what do you do for recreation? Prabhupada said, we only do recreation. We chant, dance, um, um, do Hari Katha. It's all blissful. So that is only recreation. People in this material world, because they are engaged in materialistic activities, they're full of anxiety. So they need to go to Florida and so many other places for a change. But we don't have to do that because we are engaging Krishna's work. And Krishna's work is joyful. So it is joyfully performed. Okay, someone can read this.
Yes, Prabhu. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this world.
And Krishna says, but those who are not faithful to devotional service, what happens to them? There is no hope because nature of this material world is cycle of birth and death. It is devotional service which breaks one cycle of birth and death and takes them back to Godhead. But if someone is not engaged in devotional service, then their material activities continued, and that will simply give them repeated birth. So Krishna is telling, have faith, be faithful to what I am saying, and faithful to Krishna, faithful to devotional service, and with faith render devotional service. Do not doubt. Keep practicing devotional service. Chant 16 rounds every day. Associate with devotees. Hear Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Do not doubt and continue your devotional service. Okay, so that was, I think that's all for today, and we'll see if someone has any question. This inconceivable Krishna will take maybe 25-30 minutes, so I don't want to start this new subject now.
Prabhuji, one small question.
Okay.
Prabhuji, if there is a limited time, and if you have to, if you have to choose between doing puja versus chanting, which one is better?
Prabhu, now um, Srila Prabhupada mentions Srimad Bhagavatam says, Kalota Hari Kirtanat. In Kali Yuga, Hari Kirtan. In fact, my spiritual master, His Holiness Sadhana Swami Maharaj, one time devotees asked him and they asked him, Maharaj, do you carry any deities that you worship? And Maharaj showed his bead bag and he said, this is my deity. Maharaj said, I worship Krishna through the holy name. And this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Um, um, that intelligent people in this age of Kali worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the medium of holy names. So if Srila Prabhupada said, if you go to the temple and just do Sankirtan and chant the holy name in front of the Lord is satisfied. There is no need of any other worship in this age. Now, have faith on that. Have faith. I mean, I am a pujari in a temple along with a sadhaka, a practicing sadhaka. You will experience way more connection to the Lord through the holy name than through deity worship. That is my experience also. So this is the dharma for this age. Did I answer
Prabhuji,
your
but in Bhagavad-Gita, one shloka also says, Patram phalam toyam. I mean,
Yeah.
if you offer that, I will be very pleased. That also, right?
Yeah. So whatever we should eat, we should offer to Krishna. That's the anga of devotional service. Now, deity worship is very nice. We should do it. It's very important. I also deity worship every day. But the question is, if you have limited time and if you have to choose Harina, holy name, ideally chant 16 rounds. Ideally, whatever you cook at home, offer to Krishna. And and read Bhagavad Gita. This is self-sufficient, bro. You have faith. If you just chant 16 rounds, read Bhagavad Gita, and offer to Krishna whatever you cook, this is self-sufficient.
Yeah,
And
one
go ahead.
related question, Prabhuji. Like, Padma, between Padma and myself, does it make any difference who does the puja?
Doesn't make difference. One of you worship.
Maybe it makes difference to us, is it? For Krishna, it doesn't make, it may not make difference.
See, Prabhuji. One of you, if you have an altar, and if you're offering any one of your offering, that's okay. Krishna is pleased because the offering is a combined sacrifice for both of you. Somebody is cooking, but somebody is working and getting the bhoga that needs to be cooked. So it's a combined offering. And then anybody cooks, anybody puts in front of the Lord. It's not really who put the plate in the front, but the Lord sees who has worked behind it. For example, a pujari who is dressing the Lord can decorate the Lord, but the Lord sees who made the garlands, who made the tulsi garlands, who made the flower garlands, who brought, who cooked the bhoga that a pujari is offering. The Lord sees 100 people behind the scene who has worked day and night. The Lord equally reciprocates to everyone. The Lord does not see that, well, this person has come in front of me and he has decorated me, so I'm very pleased with him. No. In fact, the Lord may be more pleased who is serving in the background in a humble mood. My Lord, I am your servant. Um, um, I have whatever I could do with every breath, I'm trying to offer you something. Krishna is supremely pleased. Does that answer?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. Any other question? Is everyone there? Did we miss anyone today?
We missed Chandan Prabhu.
Chandan Prabhu texted me that he had something
Yeah.
to do.
Yes, Prabhuji, I talked to him and then I will send the recorded class to him. He's outside, like he's taking care of some
Okay.
work.
Is Sridhar Prabhu here?
No, Prabhuji. Actually, he's having a office call.
Yeah, I saw only your name. That's why I thought of double checking.
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
I think everyone is there. All right. So we will end here. My obeisances to all of you. Vancha kalpatarubhesha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavendra ki jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Hare
sir.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.